Hello everyone, this is Chance Sweeney. This is the Gun Mayhem project that I'm working on with Dylan. The Gun Mayhem has changed directions a tiny bit. So, and the reasons for this is partly because of my SIP. I wanted to incorporate my SIP into it. And so, it needs multiplayer. Because part of my SIP is the fact that it's a co-op game, and the two players share a resource. And so I want to put that into this game, but have it more based around guns instead of like a heat cold type resource thing. So it's going to be like a weapon, like kinetic energy type of resource. And so I need network capability in order to do that. So this entire week I essentially spent, I don't know how many hours, time goes by so fast when you're sitting around trying to figure stuff out in blueprinting. So I did a lot of Googling, a lot of researching to try and figure out how to get multiplayer functionality to work. And so a lot of things had to be, a lot of settings had to be changed. Essentially, I had to turn on replication, which is for networking, so that it like replicates the thing across different networks and clients. I had to add that to essentially everything, and there was also, I had weird issues going on where the second player was, it was showing the animation for both players on one screen, but it wasn't happening on the other screen. That probably doesn't really make much sense. Essentially, the animation blueprint for the aiming offset, I guess I'll show you what I have right now. So, 2-player. So the one on the right is the server, and the one on the left is the client. I don't know why this weapon thing happens, but whatever. So before, when you aim at the player's aim offset would also follow with yours, instead of it being separated. But it's working now, as you can see on the left screen. I'm moving, and it also works for the client as well. Whereas, don't worry about that. Whereas before, it wasn't quite doing that, and literally all I had to change was something in the animation blueprint and the so the way the aim offset was calculating was doing all the work in the animation blueprint. Basically, this was it. It would get the player controller, the control rotation, the actual rotation. It would make a rotator based off the time, and it would clamp the angle between -90 and 90 for the pitch and the yaw. And essentially, all I had to do was put that same calculation process into the player blueprint instead. Where did I put it? Yeah, this. So I had to just put it in here instead. That's it, and it fixed that issue. And then I had to change a lot of other things to get stuff to work. I had to change all these to replicate all the guns. I had to, for the ADSing, I had to change it to this. So when you input, it tells the server to ADS, and the server will tell all the clients to ADS, and then it'll stop. I had to do that for the reloading as well. The reloading still doesn't quite work. You can see the animation, but the sound doesn't go off for some reason. But it's basically set up the same way. It'll tell us, it'll call a custom event that runs on the server, and that server will call an event that multicasts to everyone else. Same with swapping gun. So essentially, like for let me show this off for the shooting. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So for firing, we have input action fire, which is just left click, and it'll check if you're reloading, if you're sprinting, reloading, or swapping weapons. And if you are, you can't shoot, obviously, so nothing will happen. But if all those are false, it will set is shooting, which is also a replicated variable in animation, and it will say, it'll call a custom event fire on server, which executes on the server. And what that does is it'll start shooting, and then it'll also it'll say, hey, it's basically just to tell the server like that this player is shooting, like, hey, I'm shooting, and then it will fire a custom event to everyone else, a multicast, so it can tell all the clients that, hey, this person is shooting. And it's the same for when it stops firing and stuff like that. So it took forever to figure all this stuff out because no one really knows or I guess I don't really know anyone that knows networking. So something's got unorganized. I had to do some stuff for the swapping weapons too, because before this was just in a function like this, but I had to make another one, and it's kind of just becoming a mess right now. But as I can show you, when the client's loading in, he has to load in all the guns like this. I don't know why they show up. They shouldn't be showing up because I don't know. But I had to take the dummies out because they weren't working with multiplayer. But shoot, it works. I can even shoot the guy. But for the client, see, the reload works and it shows on both screens, as you can see, but it doesn't make the reload sound. But the reload itself works, and you can hear it on the server. The server can also shoot, of course. The server can hear the reload. And they can both see the animation. I'll just grab all these weapons. I'll have both grab all these weapons. Okay. So we have a lot of weapons. See, now that the weapon swapping does work for both players. We have the M4, the AK, the sniper rifle, the laser gun, one of my personal favorites, God's Wrath, another one of my favorites. We have Satan's Taint, and then we have the Compound Super. That one doesn't seem to quite work on the clients for some reason, but that one just spawns a bunch of homing projectiles. So that's what I have so far. The digital or the playtest that I'm going to be submitting is just going to be solely single player. I'm gonna have to touch up some of the, because right now this is just a survival map, just survive as long as you can type of deal. There's no ammo, unfortunately. The guys do drop health though, but that's all I really have for the playtest. So I'm gonna get that going. Anyways, thanks for watching. See ya.